production in the center spot with Anas Mahmoud, who is an excellent passer and an outstanding shot blocker.
Hall of Famer Rick Pitino said it's going to be a dogfight this game. Both coaches talking about how much toughness will be needed, how much communication on the court will be needed in order to win this game. And one way or the other, whether it's the Blue Devils or the Cardinals, an awfully good team is going to walk out of this arena 2-3 in league play. How tough is the ACC this year? So many teams, maybe a record number of teams, will wind up in the NCAA tournament. Outstanding officiating crew: Mike Eads, Ed Corbett, Pat Driscoll, who have combined to work in 11 Final Fours in their careers. And we're underway with the Blue Devils getting the first possession, and Grayson Allen's going to hear a lot of that every time he touches the ball.
Louisville playing man-to-man, and immediately they are switching exchanges.
Allen with the drive and draws the foul. Don't think it was Mahmoud on the block. Think it was the contact before. And Allen, as you mentioned, distributing more, driving and shooting less over the last few games. And he'll head to the free throw line right now. And again, he's going to hear this loud booing. People may or may not remember the first of the 3 tripping incidents happened against Louisville last year. That was at Duke, and then he fouled out, and there was a little tangle up. There was Ray Spalding, it was the player who was tripped last year, and then he fouled out, picked up a technical in the game here at Louisville last year. So even prior to this year's incident or incidents, no love lost between Louisville fans and Grayson Allen.
And that one drive by Allen is really going to be a key to this game, and that is Louisville cannot foul on drives. They've got to rely on their shot blocking at the rim.
Deng Adele doesn't get the bounce, and the rebound down to Duke. Very important for the Blue Devils to try to keep the Cardinals off the offensive glass. Louisville, an extremely long team. Tatum misses the 3. Great tap out by Allen. Matt Jones with a drive, and it goes.
Second chance opportunities are a key for Louisville, but also stopping them. And that was a terrific job by Grayson Allen of tipping that ball back out and keeping it alive. Now, Louisville's not a great offensive team, and they have got to generate some points and point production off of offensive rebounds and score off their defense.
They're moving the ball on this possession. Adele inside, and a foul going against Matt Jones of Duke.
Grayson Allen getting inside position on Donovan Mitchell, just able to knock that out with his left hand. And Matt Jones, oftentimes off an offensive rebound or a play like that, you can give up a 3, but Jones did a really nice job of driving the closeout. And Matt Jones has played really well over his last 3 or 4 games. He's starting to shoot the ball much better.
Spalding inside, knocked away as Harry Giles has checked in early for Duke. Corner 3 not there for Deng Adele, but a long rebound out to Quentin Snyder. Snyder off the side of the backboard. Giles keeps it in bounds, but threw it right to Mahmoud.
After they get a reset of the shot clock.
Well, they did reset it, although the ball was nowhere near the rim. And Louisville spent a long time down in this half of the court trying to wind up with something coming out of this possession. Adele, tough bounce pass in traffic, stays with Louisville. 12 on the shot clock.
One of the challenges for Duke in the last 3 or 4 games has been guarding the ball and guarding ball screens. And Harry Giles, the outstanding freshman who has missed over 1.5 years coming into this season with injuries, he has not had a lot of time this year to drill. So he doesn't have those habits yet.
Easy play off the inbounds. Too easy if you're Duke, as Anas Mahmoud lays it in and Louisville's on the board.
Yeah, too easy for anybody. Give up layups up out of bounds underneath. You work awfully hard to limit Louisville and make them take tough and contested shots and they get a wide open layup off out of bounds underneath.
Luke Kennard with the ball for Duke, having an outstanding year, averaging better than 20 points per game. Allen guarded by Mitchell into traffic, off a Louisville hand out of bounds, still Duke ball.
Here's that out of bounds underneath, and you can see Mahmoud just goes right to the bucket after setting an easy screen. Just a miscommunication on the part of Duke, and Harry Giles trying to put pressure on the ball out of bounds. You really got to be active to try to limit vision there.
Tough baseline jumper for Kennard.
And how good of a year has Luke Kennard had? in ACC play, averaging 20 points, shooting 57% from the field and over 50% from three.
Top 5 in the ACC in field goal percentage, 3-point percentage, and free throw percentage. Mahmoud rejected by Giles.
Who is the #2 shot blocking team in the country? It looks like it's been Giles.
Turnover Duke.
One of the things, Dan, that of all the issues Duke has had this year, injuries have been the primary driver of things. They've missed, I stopped counting after I got to 40, different players missing up to 40 games this year to injury, and primarily that freshman class that missed so many games. But one of the issues they're dealing with too is they don't have what I would call a traditional or classic point guard. They're having 2 guards having to play that. Now it's Grayson Allen. That's a difficult thing to do.
Mitchell, no. Kept alive by Mahmoud, but he tips it out to Kennard.
This happened earlier in the year where you had different guys bringing the ball up, and that can be really effective.
Jones driving on Snyder. Snyder tips it away. Louisville ball. Louisville is good at any team in the country using their hands, getting deflections, and turning those into turnovers.
Yeah, they look to back tip, especially if you get by them. See, there's the ball screen defense that has been so difficult. Instead of being able to hedge and keep Quentin Snyder from turning the corner, he easily got into the lane.
Snyder's had a couple of really good games recently. Terrific against Pitt in the win during the week, and an absolutely outstanding game in the win over Kentucky back in December.
Yeah, the win over Kentucky where he had 22 and had 5 assists. That's the best game he's had in his career. Here's the switch.
Crowd thought Allen got away with the travel. Shot clock's running down, and he won't get it off in time.
Well, how about Anas Mahmoud moving his feet?
They appreciate their defense here in this part of the country, don't they?
Well, especially with all the switching that Louisville is doing. You're going to get some matchup difficulties, but so far Duke has not been able to take advantage of those matchup, maybe advantages if you want to call it that. It didn't turn out to be an advantage when Anas Mahmoud switched out onto Grayson Allen.
Frank Jackson chased Jeter in for Duke. Jalen Johnson into the game for Louisville. Mahmoud, and didn't have the angle on the pass as he turns it over. Duke by 1 in the early going. A look at the Blue Devils season in review when we come back.
Absence. If everything does go exactly as planned, it would have him back in time for the end of the season, the conference tournament, and then the NCAA tournament.
So, Jay, a lot going on. From a consensus #1 pick in the country before the season, dealing with all kinds of things on and off the court over the first 2 months of the year.
Well, first of all, we couldn't get a TV from this century. That TV was from like 1965.
What do you got against 1965?
Boy, times are tough.
Yeah. Sadly, you and I both remember having televisions like that in our childhood.
Before there was a remote control.
Yeah.
Boy, Louisville's done a good job on drives. They're angling out Duke's drives and making them score over their outstretched arms, making them take a tough 2. And that's really going to be key in this game, is can Louisville run Duke off the 3-point line, especially guys like Luke Kennard and Grayson Allen.
Jalen Johnson fouled by Jason Tatum.
Difficult matchup for Tatum, who's 6'8", very athletic, and is playing extraordinarily well right now. 4 games in ACC play that he's played in his young career. He's averaging 20 points a game and shooting just under 50%. He's played and he's just scratching the surface of how good he's going to be.
Kennard on Johnson right now off the inbounds. The kick to Snyder's got a wide open 3. And it'll be a Louisville foul, a push from behind on the rebounding action.
Looks like they got Mathiang.
Yep.
But those are fouls you can live with because they're going after the ball. And that's it's such a big part of their offense.
Mango Mathiang coming off the bench now the last several games. Anas Mahmoud has moved into the starting lineup. We were at Louisville practice yesterday. And boy, Mango Mathiang is talkative, and he is funny.
He is funny. And how good was that practice yesterday? Yeah. I mean, Rick Pitino runs, not that it's hard to believe, being in the Hall of Fame and coming up on 800 victories, but that was a masterful practice.
Kennard off to Frank Jackson, who was standing with 1 foot out of bounds when he took the pass.
Another turnover for Duke. And these turnovers haven't been live ball turnovers where Louisville has been able to score off of them. But it has been, you don't have an opportunity to score. And when you turn the ball over, you don't have an opportunity for a shot, you don't have an opportunity for an offensive rebound, and you don't have an opportunity to get fouled. So you're giving some things up.
Snyder off to Johnson, tries to corral it in traffic, but he travels. A great day and night of college basketball on the ESPN family of networks. Coming up right after us here on ESPN, Florida State and North Carolina. The Seminoles have won 12 in a row. What a matchup this should be. And then at 4 o'clock Eastern time, Auburn and Kentucky from Rupp Arena. Both games also streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN. Florida State making some real noise right now in the ACC.
They've got incredible depth and athleticism, and they can just absolutely wear you out. And it's a different Florida State team, very good defensively, but this team can score, and that's not always been the case. They've struggled to score at times in the past several years.
They handed Duke a 16-point loss during the week in Tallahassee as Tony Hicks knocks down the jumper. Grad transfer from Penn gives Louisville a 1-point lead. Now he commits a foul.
Well, not a smart foul by Tony Hicks. Got his hands all over Frank Jackson, but transition defense for Duke has not been good over the last several games. That's an area where they really need to improve.
Nate James counseling a couple of his players.
One of the things that Louisville's full court pressure can do, and it's not been, they've not pressed, you know, every minute of every game this year. They put it on at times, but it can really wear teams down, especially when you've got really good shooting teams. You can get into a shooter's legs, and then toward the end of the game, last portion of the game, maybe those shooters are coming up short because their legs are tired.
With Allen on the bench, Frank Jackson with some of the ball handling responsibilities. He'll share it along with the likes of Kennard and Jones. Jackson knocks down the three.
Well, you just cannot help out. And right there, just too much. That was over helping by Louisville, where the drive was not the primary issue. You watch right here, Tony Hicks just helps too much and leaves wide open Frank Jackson. Also, Luke Kennard was open.
Jackson, a 38% shooter from beyond the arc this year, and Duke's got a 2-point lead. Johnson, the lob inside, knocked away by Jones. Still Louisville ball.
Well, nice job by Chase Jeter to get a hand on it, but Matt Jones was right there. If he didn't get that hand on it, Jones could have at least bothered it by getting down and trying to take that ball away.
Not only does Louisville have size in the front court, they've got depth in the front court. It can be Mathiang and Johnson, or it can be Mahmoud and Spalding, but they've always got two extremely big players with long wingspans on the court.
What you don't have with those guys is scoring. You can get offensive rebounds, but you're not going to be able to throw the ball into them that often and have them get a bucket for you.
Low scoring start here this afternoon. Kennard, the spin and the finish.
Luke Kennard is so good. I mean, last year he shot in the 40s percentage-wise and shot in the low 30s from three-point range. And his consistency has been off the charts.
Counted in a foul. Great play between Deng Adel and Donovan Mitchell.
Just a communication issue on the back pick. This is a little offensive set that Louisville runs quite a bit and has been running for years, even back to when Rick Pitino was a million years ago in Kentucky. And you have really got to, if you're going to go underneath, that's going to be really difficult to stay with Donovan Mitchell, who is a spectacular athlete and was quite the baseball pitcher in high school.
Yes. A little confusion. Allen tried to check into the game, but he didn't go to the scorer's table first. So they sent him back to, one of the officials sent him back to the scorer's table to officially check in as he takes the place of Kennard, just given the fans here who are not looking for, who don't need any more reasons to get on his case. He just gave them a tiny one right there, and they took advantage of it. So Allen back in for Kennard. Snyder has come back in for Louisville as Hicks has gone to the bench.
Duke very young up front with Harry Giles and Javin DeLaurier. Everything being switched right now by Louisville.
Double team, nice pass, wide open Allen, got it.
Boy, how does Grayson Allen get that wide open? With all the switching, just an assignment missed and a lack of communication. But well, you give a three-point shooter and a three-point shooting team a shot like that, you don't get that wide open in a game of course.
There's Giles working on the ball screen defense, which was something he struggled with in the loss to Florida State. Only played 10 minutes in that game. Wild shot by Mathiang, but he does draw the foul. And Jeff Capel saying to DeLaurier, who I think got called for the foul, keep your arms straight up in the air.
Yeah, Mango Mathiang's not a great offensive player. So if you can make him take that little spin, sort of jump hook and over your outstretched arms, that's good defense. You foul, you put him on the line where he's more likely to score.
Dang, the senior misses the front end, or misses the first rather, with the 2 free throws. Tatum, Kennard, Jeter, all sitting on the bench right now. Javin DeLaurier in the game. He has not appeared in a game, Jay, for Duke since December the 10th against UNLV, but with Emil Jefferson out, Jeff Capel's going to reach a little bit deeper into his front court rotation.
Well, he's trying to keep his regulars fresh, too. You don't want your regulars to have to go 35, 38 minutes against this kind of pressure and this kind of pace. You want to make sure that you, if possible, to be able to give your guys a little bit of rest so they're fresher toward the end of the game.
And as good as he is, Jefferson sometimes seems overshadowed on that Duke roster, at least in terms of the publicity he gets nationally. But he has been having a great season, a big loss for Duke. When we come back, Jay Billis, Quentin Snyder, and a whole lot of other Cardinals going 94 feet.
What an honor for them.
Type 2 diabetes?
4 feet with nice Quentin Snyder. Good job, guys. That was well done.
And a nice job by his teammates getting involved in 94 feet. It's a multi-talented group, huh?
Yeah, well, they didn't get their required union break, so they're gonna file a grievance with the union.
They were happy to be involved yesterday. Donovan Mitchell, who just missed the jumper, he was manning the camera. A run out to Tatum, crosses over, and is called for the travel.
That is the 6th turnover for Duke. Louisville did not give up on the play. Dangadell doing a good job of jumping right in front of Jason Tatum, and I don't want to say that was a forced error, but his effort led to it.
Mamu, the handoff to Mitchell. He's the leading scorer for the Cardinals, 13.5 points per game. Johnson muscling his way in, missed it, got it back, kicks it out, extra pass, corner 3, and Tatum with a strong rebound.
All 5 guys are going to have to go to the defensive glass.
Tatum full head of steam and banks it home. Duke's lead is 6.
Well, this lineup a little bit smaller should be able to run a little bit more effectively.
Lob, Mahmoud, the assist to Johnson.
Well, Rick Pitino taking advantage of some of the ball screen coverage issues that Duke has had. And after that screen, Harry Giles jumped out and wasn't able to recover. There was no pressure on the ball, and they were able to throw it right to the rim. That was really well executed by Louisville.
Well, he is so long, the 7-footer from Cairo, a junior, one of the more improved players I think that we've seen in the country this year.
And he does such a great job defensively. It's not just with his shot blocking. He gets a number of deflections. He moves his feet really well. I mean, already we've seen him switch out on a point guard. He switched out on Grayson Allen, stayed in front of him. But you can see right now, Dan, Louisville's looking to attack Harry Giles off of ball screens. You know, they want to put him in as many ball screens as they can and take advantage of the fact that he's young and inexperienced and he doesn't handle them as well as he will later on.
David Levitch into the game for the first time for Louisville. He draws the assignment of guarding Grayson Allen right now.
There'll be a lot of switches. He'll be on there. He's already in Luke Kennard. They're switching every screen in exchange.
Baseline pass into Jeter and a push against the Cardinals. It'll be on Dangadell. Second on Adele.
Rick Pitino trying to make his case with Ed Corbett, showing exactly how some fouls are being. That was a foul right there. You know, one thing Duke can do is start looking for the screener, because of all this switching, the screener is likely to be open. The Duke big guys have a chance to get some openings if they will set their screen and shape up to the ball.
Well, Kennard can score in a variety of ways, can he?
Well, he's had a great year. I mean, he's been fabulous.
Levitch into traffic, held ball, and the arrow will keep it with the Cardinals.
Good job by Jason Tatum to help over and stop that drive by David Levitch.
The crowd, again, they will take any opportunity they can when Grayson Allen's involved in anything to let him know how they feel about him. And Jace Jeter wrapped him up and got him out of there. Didn't appear to need to, but just wanted to play it as safe as possible. Elbow jumper not there for Snyder. Kept alive by Jones. Tatum has it for the Blue Devils. Tatum passed up the three behind the back of the drive, and Mahmoud got all of that.
Great patience defensively by Anas Mahmoud.
And a foul called against Jones of the Blue Devils, his second.
Anas Mahmoud never leaves the floor first. He waits till the offensive player leaves the floor. He does a great job of not fouling because he knows he can catch up. And after Jason Tatum commits, then he goes up with that length and timing and blocks that shot out of the air. That's a big-time block by Anas Mahmoud.
That's his 38th block of the season, averaging better than 2 blocks per game. And Mitchell turns it over. The foul on Matt Jones, his second, sends him to the bench. And sometimes he's characterized as a glue guy for Duke, which may not be giving him enough credit. I don't know if you're into plus minus as a stat for basketball players, but when Jones is in the game this year, Duke's plus 271 points for versus points against. When he's not in the game, they're plus 45. That's pretty strong.
It is pretty strong. He's a great defender, not only as an individual defender on the ball, but he's even better off the ball as a team defender. Always in the right spot, talks. You know, he can cover up for a lot of mistakes that his teammates may make.
Tatum has a mismatch, has a size advantage on Mitchell. Kicks it back out to Jackson, and they switch back. 7 to shoot. Kennard. 3 to shoot. Kennard. Too strong, and the rebound down to Mitchell.
Mitchell, an excellent guard rebounder.
Snyder gets the switch. Jeter on him. Now VJ King, the freshman, misses. Mahmoud blocked by Jeter. It will stay with Louisville.
Boy, the play there wasn't the shot. It was Ray Spalding was wide open underneath the basket, and Louisville just missed him. They still had 2-on-1 offensive rebounding. But he was wide open under the bucket. You see him just there. There was a little bit of recovery there, but they had 2-on-1 on the offensive glass and almost got a bucket as a result. Tough place to inbound the ball.
Snyder deep in the corner with Jeter and all of his size trying to make it difficult on him. Spalding back into the game for the Cardinals. And a block is called on Jeter. Tomorrow night, 9 Eastern here on ESPN, the 15th annual Martin Luther King Jr. celebration game between the Bulls and the Memphis Grizzlies. The Grizzlies will be wearing their MLK 50 Pride uniforms in remembrance of the 50th anniversary of Dr. King's assassination. You can see that game tomorrow night right here on ESPN. 6-point lead Duke, 8:42 to go. Low scoring, a fair number of turnovers here in the first half. Both teams 2-2 in league play. Both teams 14-3 overall. Mahmoud will head to the free throw line.
A nice move by Anas Mahmoud. Donovan Mitchell's got to get aggressive offensively. He's really got to score, I believe, in this game for Louisville to win. And Quentin Snyder's been very aggressive, really ever since the Kentucky game. His performance in the Kentucky game, when he had 22 points, that was the first performance by a Louisville player this season to get 20 or more in a game. And that couldn't have been more important for his team.
Maria's got more.
You know, Donovan Mitchell, you mentioned him scoring more, Jay, and he said that he was overthinking the game to start out the season, but over the last 4 games, he's been averaging 20 points and trying to let the offense come to him a little more. But I've noticed coach talking to him about taking the shot when he's open. He feels like he's overthinking the game again, guys.
Thank you, Marie. As you said, Jay, they're not a great offensive team. They average about 75 points per game, 3 in double figures, a lot of balance, a lot of guys 6, 7, 8 points per game, and a lot of depth. Rick Pitino's teams always have a lot of depth. He loves to use a lot of bodies given the pressure defense that they play. Allen inside, Jeter, and it's going to be an offensive foul. I think it's going on Allen on the drive. It is. Grayson Allen called for the foul.
Even with all the switching, Louisville doing a great job of guarding the ball and being there on those drives. And that's where you got to have a little jump stop. Maybe not the best possible angle, but a terrific job by Donovan Mitchell to get there, just put his body there.
First foul on Allen as Mitchell takes the charge.
They're trying to play a little bit higher up on the floor.
Mitchell blocked by a couple of Blue Devils, and now numbers for Duke. Allen driving at Mahmoud, and it will go.
So Duke has gotten some transition opportunities. This has not been a great transition offensive team.
Lob inside, and another easy finish for Mahmoud.
It looked like Duke was trying to ice that ball screen. Didn't happen. But that's the second time they've fallen victim to a lob. You got to have better pressure on the ball.
And many now with the KFC Yum Center rising to their feet in support of the Cardinals. Duke with a 5-point lead here in hostile territory in Louisville. Kennard, baseline drive, the kick. Jackson wide open. And the long rebound down to Mitchell.
The shot blocking prowess of Louisville is really affecting everything next to the goal.
Snyder using the ball screen again. Tough one off balance. Rolls off the rim. And it's down to Kennard. Kennard with a crossover. Lays it up too strong. Ball still loose. Back come the Cardinals. Mitchell pull up three. Or rather, Snyder with a pull up three. And then a foul. No basket. A foul underneath going against Duke on Javin DeLaurier.
Oh, I love that decision to pull up for the three with the offensive rebounding coverage. But Duke getting some opportunities in transition. Grayson Allen going over the great shot blocker, Anas Mahmoud.
A studio update. Let's check in on the defending champs in transition. Shamori Pons, the three. Villanova shooting under 30%. St. John's already big upset earlier this year, up 5. Elsewhere, ACC, Virginia, and Clemson in a tight one, as are Georgia and Florida over on ESPN2. Back to Louisville.
All right, Doug, thank you. With the ACC, such a rugged conference. You got Florida State and Notre Dame tied for the lead in the conference at 4-0. How about Jamel Artis and Michael Young being 1-2 in the conference in scoring? Both of them over 20 points per game. You expect the great defense from Virginia. We've talked about the Seminoles. They got a huge game coming up right after our game today here on ESPN in Chapel Hill. So you got the Seminoles and the Irish at 4-0. The Tar Heels are 3-1, and then 7 teams, including both of these, are at 2-2 right now in league play.
It's ridiculous how deep the league is. 13 teams were ranked in the KenPom.com top 50, and that's more analytics. But it's really amazingly deep. And if you go on the road in this league and you don't play at or near your best, there's no way you're going to win.
How about the game Jamel Artis had in a losing effort against Louisville during the week? The Cardinals led by as many as 26 early in the second half, wound up winning by 5. Artis had 43 points in that game.
Well, those two you mentioned, Artis and Young, have had just a fabulous season.
Giles tries to free himself, too strong off the glass. What do you see from Giles?
He doesn't look like himself yet. He hasn't played in so long, and he's still trying to feel his way through it. I'm sure confidence is an issue, but he's the real deal. I mean, you give him some time to get back into sort of playing basketball, and he's going to be really, really good.
Nice little handoff there from Snyder to Spalding, who couldn't finish, but will wind up at the free throw line on the foul by Giles.
Louisville getting into the paint where they can make plays, and Ray Spalding, the sophomore, is having a terrific season. He's averaging over 10 rebounds per game in his last 2 games. 9 rebounds a game in ACC play in their 4 ACC games. Excellent defensively. And he's one of those guys that the sky's the limit. He's going to continue to get better.
He's a sophomore from right here in Louisville. So both Spalding and Snyder starters on their hometown college team here, as Louisville's back within 1. And now a foul going against VJ King, the freshman from Cleveland.
Just got a little bit too handsy. You have to play with your feet, not with your hands. That's where those fouls are coming from. But Louisville's not even shooting 30%. They're only down 1.
And 2 of the reasons: good offensive rebounding by Louisville and a lot of turnovers.
Yeah, I mean, to limit Duke, and Duke shot over 50%, but to limit it to 19 points with just under 6 minutes to go in the first half is really an excellent defensive job by Louisville.
Allen on the drive draws the foul. Again, Duke playing without the injured Emil Jefferson, sustained a bone bruise on his right foot 2 games ago. The same foot that cost him so much time last season and wound up with him getting a medical red shirt. No word really on the severity, still day-to-day, game-to-game at this point. And they're also without, as Allen hears it again from the fans, they're also without, of course, Their head coach, Hall of Famer Mike Krzyzewski, who is recuperating from back surgery, and we certainly send Coach K our best, hoping for a speedy and full recovery. The timetable initially when given was about 4 weeks, so maybe another 3 weeks from now. Jeff Capel, who is the acting head coach for the Blue Devils, of course, Jay, was a head coach, has been a head coach before both VCU and Oklahoma.
Yeah, Jeff Capel is a very good head coach and did a great job at VCU and really built that program up before Shaka Smart took it over and took it to the next level, and did an excellent job at Oklahoma where he took the Sooners to the Elite Eight when he had Blake Griffin.
Played for Coach K, the Blue Devils, back in the mid-90s, better than 1,600 points in his career, and there's some of the qualifications, as we mentioned, both with VCU and Oklahoma, an assistant with Duke the last 6 years, filled in for one game as the head coach last year when Coach K was ill, but this is obviously a longer-term situation for Capel, assisted by Nate James and John Shire, and Nolan Smith with Coach K out. Nolan Smith, terrific player in his day at Duke, moves from a basketball ops position into more of a full-time assistant coaching position until Coach K comes back.
And Nolan Smith has been moving into a practice role as well, because he suited up the last couple days of practice to help simulate some of the quick guards and the ball screen coverage that Duke was going to need. And Nolan's father, Derek Smith, was a great player here at Louisville, won a national championship in 1980, and Nolan won a national championship in 2010.
Spent some time with Portland in the NBA, and he's been playing the role of Quentin Snyder this week in that ball screen offense that the Cardinals run, as Chase Jeter makes his way to the free throw line for the Blue Devils. Jeter played 25 minutes in the loss at Florida State during the week. Again, Giles was struggling in some respects defensively, and with Jefferson. Jeter leaves it way short, ball's loose, and it belongs to the Cardinals, who are looking for the lead. Mahmoud fouled by Jackson.
And that's his third. I think Craig Jackson had 2 right before that.
And it is number 3 on Jackson.
Just saw Emil Jefferson saying be smart, but he's just going after the ball, and that was an instinctive play he was trying to make, but great job by Anas Mahmoud of running the floor.
Be smart, you got 3.
Well, how about Emil Jefferson sitting over there? He leads Duke in rebounding, offensive rebounding, block shots, field goal percentage. He leads the ACC in field goal percentage. And he's also an excellent defender that can guard multiple spots. That's a big loss for Duke.
And Maria's got more.
And how about this, guys? Now he's trying to coach up the team as much as possible. He's got a folded up towel right in front of him. He gets on his knee. He's calling out the plays. He's talking to players as they come back over to the bench about what he sees. He's been told the heart and soul of this team. Now he's on the bench trying to coach his team up.
All right, Maria, thank you. Louisville with the lead after the free throws. It's getting louder and louder. Allen kicks it out to Kennard. Good close out there by Spalding. Allen baseline, and a foul is called against Louisville on the baseline, and it will be on Spalding. Number 2 on him.
Well, both teams have had team fouls piling up.
Bonus both ways as Spalding heads to the bench. Johnson back in for him, and Allen back to the free throw line.
Well, being in the bonus, one thing you don't want to do is to foul when there's no opportunity for the team to score. You put them at the free throw line where they get free points. It's so difficult for Duke to score on this Louisville defense. You don't want to foul them and put them on the line.
That's probably part of the message Rick Pitino was just delivering over on the bench. Allen, a very good free throw shooter. Makes them both.
Now, Louisville's attention to detail on the defensive end is incredibly impressive. Now, Duke look like they're going to a little zone now. Going to 2-3 zone. Wings are coming up a little bit.
Mitchell for 3. Got it.
He's the guy. Donovan Mitchell is the guy that really needs to have a great game. And he is an excellent defender and one of the best guard rebounders in the conference.
Kennard the drive, and the lefty lays it in to tie the game.
Really smart play by Luke Kennard. Able to get the switch. He had Jalen Johnson on him. Just drove to his left. He's a left-hander.
Duke staying in the zone.
Sticking with the zone.
Mitchell the kick. King is open. And when Louisville knocks down threes, it takes them to an entirely different level.
Well, that zone has not been effective because V.J. King just hit his first three since December the 10th against Texas Southern.
One of the consistent factors in Louisville's 3 losses this year, they have not shot the 3 well. When they make shots, they're tough. Kennard misses badly, and back come the Cardinals with the ball and the lead.
Boy, and it's been 1 and out. Luke Kennard got the switch. Now Duke back to man-to-man. But Luke Kennard got the switch. Wasn't able to take advantage of it.
Mahmoud out to Snyder. He drives by Tatum. Back to Mahmoud for the slam. Timeout Duke. Cardinals on a run and up by 5. 8 points in the last 3 possessions for Louisville. A season high 11 already on the day for Anas Mahmoud, and the Cardinals, who have trailed most of the half, now find themselves leading by 5.
Yeah, Louisville hit those 2 threes against the 2-3 zone of Duke, and then it was a poor closeout by the freshman Jason Tatum that allowed Louisville to get into the lane, and Louisville really getting into the paint at will.
Mahmoud got a piece of it.
Anas Mahmoud has been outstanding at both ends of the floor. Absolutely outstanding. He's got 11 points, 4 rebounds. That's his 2nd block, and he's affected other shots.
3 of his rebounds at the offensive end.
Egypt is going to be a hotbed of recruiting coming up.
Suffered a concussion earlier this season. Was one of 3 Louisville players as they make another 3. This time it's Snyder. So they missed their first 6 threes of the game. Now they've made 3 in a row, and the lead grows to 8.
And that was just off a high ball screen, a little flat ball screen up top, and Quentin Snyder just able to waltz into that shot. Quentin Snyder from Louisville. Boy, Anas Mahmoud had 2 hands on Jason Tatum. It wasn't called at first, but called later. But watch this ball screen up top being set by Anas Mahmoud, and Chase Jeter gives a little bit too much room, and just a great decision by Quentin Snyder to pull up. And Quentin Snyder went to Ballard High School here in Louisville. You know whose record he broke to be the all-time leading scorer at Ballard High School?
No, sir.
Allen Houston.
Wow. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Emmanuel Forrest went there as well, who played here at Louisville. Remember, Wade Houston, Allen Houston's dad, was a longtime assistant to Denny Crum here before he went to be the head coach of Tennessee.
Jason Tatum at the line, averaging better than 17 points per game. Coming back from the foot injury that kept him out early on in the season. He has been the most productive of the 3 freshmen who started the year with injuries. Giles still working his way in terms of comfort and conditioning, and Marquise Bolden not playing a whole lot. We haven't seen him at all.
Yeah, this is really not his type of game with the up and down nature of it.
Jones for 3.
What kind of shot is that? That was not the shot that any team would want.
And nobody underneath at all. Duke, as you said, it's been a 1 and done just about every time down.
And now all of a sudden you have to play defense again after being on offense for 5 seconds.
Mitchell whips a pass inside. Mahmoud. What a half for Anas Mahmoud.
What a half, what a fake. That shot fake and going to the other side of the bucket was a big-time play by Anas Mahmoud. He has been the player of the game without question.
Allen trying to keep Mitchell off him. Pull up Tatum.
A tough shot.
Louisville ball.
Donovan Mitchell, who knocked down the first of the big threes, coming off the little exchange. It was essentially a ball screen that wasn't even set. And there was no reason for Chase Jeter to stay with the ball that long. And a great shot fake by Anas Mahmoud. Terrific pass by Mitchell. But Mahmoud has been spectacular in this game. His best game of his career by far.
Snyder. Mahmoud thought about the long jumper. Now between the legs to keep the dribble alive, and then back into the hands of Snyder. Good anticipation by Tatum to create the turnover. Kennard coast to coast lays it in between a couple of defenders. And Rick Pitino will use a timeout. We'll be back in 30 seconds. Louisville up 6 on Duke late in the first half as Luke Kennard tries to keep his team close here in Louisville.
Americans, 83
action, NBA and NHL action as well. Also streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN.
Why is it that after the college football playoff, we always say, now we can turn our attention to college basketball? You know, I watch football and basketball. Yes. I think more Americans can do that. They can watch more than one sport at one time.
You're an unusually strong multitasker there. Your remote skills are excellent. Snyder misses the three. Kennard down with a rebound into the final minute of the first half. 6-point lead, Louisville. Allen the drive, challenges Mahmoud. Jeter keeps it alive, and Duke has another possession. Corner three. And we've got a call going against Jeter, I believe. An illegal screen, and Jeff Capel doesn't like that call. Second on Jeter.
Rick Pitino was incensed at his team for a mistake that they made at the other end. I haven't seen him that worked up at a player in a long time. And he knows his team has, well, offensively it was a challenge early on. You know, they put themselves in a position to really have a nice finish to this half if they can score here.
If they want to, they can basically hold it, but Mahmoud doesn't want to. Left it short, and Duke will get a possession out of this. There was only about a second-and-a-half difference between the game clock and the shot clock, but Louisville elected not to use that time. And now the Blue Devils get a final look.
And Jason Tatum has a pretty good matchup. A little more difficult with Mahmoud on him.
Long jumper over Mahmoud is there. A long two for Tatum. That will bring the Blue Devils within 4 at the close of the first half. Louisville 34 and Duke 30. As Duke started well, got cold. Louisville started cold, got hot. And it's a 4-point game at the break. Should be a great 20 minutes coming to the second half. But time now to send it to the studio for the halftime report. Doug Kazarian, LaFonso Ellis, and Outhouse here on this Saturday afternoon in Louisville. Big ACC matchup between the Blue Devils and the Cardinals. Louisville takes a 4-point lead into the second half. Welcome back, Dan Shulman and Jay Billis again. What did you like about Louisville offensively?
Well, offensively, they did a good job with their ball screens, and they scored off them, and that's a large measure of how Anas Mahmoud got those 13 points. But their defense was spectacular, too. Duke's ball screen coverage, not very good. Letting Quentin Snyder getting all the way to the basket, that was essentially a switch off a ball screen, then not being up and connected to Anas Mahmoud. He's able to pull up for that shot, and then this is way too easy to be able to get the ball to Mahmoud. That great pass by Donovan Mitchell, so excellent execution by Louisville. But you can tell that Louisville's defense has been so effective, not just by holding Duke to 30 points in the first half, but Duke has 11 field goals. They've only got 2 assists on those 11 field goals. Louisville has taken Duke totally out of what they want to do and has only allowed 2 made threes, which is where Duke can really hurt teams.
Let's send it to Maria Taylor.
Well, the first thing that Jeff Capel told me about Duke's first half is look at the 2 assists to 8 turnover ratio. That is the problem that they had in the first. He also talked a lot about ball screen defense. The team is not playing connected and rolling back and rotating. In the Louisville locker room, the message was, since Duke only has 2 assists, that means every player is trying to put the ball on the deck, get to the rim, so they have to contain the dribble a little bit better. And they feel as though if they have more assists than Duke at the end of the day, there's a good chance they win the ball game, guys.
All right, Maria, thank you. Luke Kennard opens up the second half with a 3 for Duke to bring them back within 1, and then a foul call going against Louisville. It's on Mahmoud, his second, and all of a sudden the Blue Devils have a chance to reclaim the lead.
You know, one of the things when Duke does look to drive, they can't just drive looking for a score. They have to drive looking to dish the ball as well, and that can lead to some open threes. And they weren't able to get really any open threes at all in the first half. I think they were 2 of 7 from 3-point range in the first half, and you got to give credit to Louisville's defense. This is an excellent defensive basketball team.
And there's Grayson Allen just putting the brakes on and really drawing Deng Adele into a foul. And that's the 3rd on Adele. He has not been able to be much of a factor at all in this game. He goes to the bench, and the freshman of E.J. King is back in. Again, Allen, the primary point guard, the primary ball handler since he's come back from his suspension. 7.7 assists in his last 3 games. Does not have any assists today. Turned it over 3 times in the first half. Harry Giles, who played only 7 minutes in the first half because of some foul trouble, turns it over.
Giles was made to catch the ball. He was very active posting up, but he caught the ball so far off the lane and tried to push Anas Mahmoud down low and just wasn't able to complete the play. But that's, again, something that he hasn't been drilling.
Snyder the drive.
Way too easy. What a great drive by Quentin Snyder. He looks like he hit his hip when he went down. It's so quick turning that corner and just really taking advantage of the ball screen defensive deficiencies that Duke has shown in this game.
And Snyder grimacing as he comes back down the court, holding his left hip. Giles with the easy slam for Duke, and Rick Pitino's already sent Tony Hicks to the scores table to check in for Snyder.
This is pretty much a universal thing. Usually guys limp on the defensive end, and they're much better on the offensive end.
King for three. Out of bounds to Louisville. Let's take another look at what happened to Quentin Snyder.
Well, he's just so aggressive coming off this ball screen up top, and really poor job by Harry Giles to stay connected and then to make him change his path. He just had a straight line drive downhill to the bucket.
And getting a little attention on the Louisville bench as Hicks takes his place. Johnson into Mahmoud. Got a mismatch. Has Matt Jones on him. Saved it, but into the hands of the Blue Devils. Kennard with a nice look ahead. Allen fouled and will head to the free throw line for two.
Really good job by Matt Jones. He was smaller, but he did a good job of getting low and staying between Mahmoud and the basket to make him take a shot over him. Just stayed solid.
And good news for Louisville. Snyder is coming right back into the game. Rick Pitino substituting liberally as always. Snyder will come back in. Spalding's coming in. Mathiang in as well.
Trying to get a combination that could catch fire a little bit. They did catch fire in the second portion of the first half. Part of that was when Duke went to that 2-3 zone due to foul trouble and not being able to contain the dribble and protect the paint. Those 2 threes back to back by Donovan Mitchell and B.J. King, those really changed the game.
Allen now with 11 and Duke back on top. Spalding. Strong move into Tatum. Tatum doesn't like the call as he picks up the foul. That will be his second.
Well, you really have to deny that pass off of the ball screen and roll to the basket. I mean, that was just way too easy to be able to catch the ball in the middle of the paint. And even though Jason Tatum thought he had his hands up, he brought him down and then put him up at the end, which is oftentimes what happens. You know, right now, Dan, when you're inside that restricted arc, if you're going to have 2 hands up, you need to jump. If you jump, you'll be protected from those kind of fouls a little bit easier. When you're standing there, they're called out almost every time.
1 of 2 for Spalding, and it's tied at 37. Both teams 14-3 on the season, both 2-2 in the league. Duke ranked 7th, Louisville ranked 14th. This is the 7th ranked opponent already that the Cardinals have played this season. No team in the country has played that many.
Florida State starting to catch up.
Yeah, they are. What are they, in a stretch of 6 in a row, 6 ranked teams in a row?
They are. They've played 3 of them already. The 4th today is North Carolina at the Smith Center. And only twice in the history of the ACC has any team played 6 consecutive conference games against ranked opponents. This being the 3rd for Florida State.
Florida State's won 12 in a row. You can see that game between the Seminoles and the Tar Heels. Next, right here on ESPN, should be a great matchup in Chapel Hill. Mathiang runs down the loose ball, hands it off to Snyder. And he is fouled and will head to the free throw line. It's on Grayson Allen.
Well, after the shot by Harry Giles, I think Mathiang got away with one, almost walked there, but that was just legs getting caught, tangled up. That happens all the time in basketball, not a big deal, but good attack by Quentin Snyder. How about yesterday in Louisville's practice when Rick Pitino was making a point, then all of a sudden he points to the floor and says, "Whose blood is that?" that's the kind of practice that Louisville had yesterday. Whose blood is that? It's like Caddyshack. Pick up that blood.
I mean, it was almost a 2.5-hour practice, and it was intense from the moment it started until the moment it ended. Not surprisingly, it's reflected in the way they play.
Yeah, this team plays really hard.
Mitchell splits the double team, finds Mathiang. How pretty was that?
You made the key point. Split the double. You're not shoulder to shoulder. You cannot allow a ball handler to split it. especially one as dynamic as Donovan Mitchell.
Feels like Louisville's run a ball screen on every possession today except the two when Duke went zone and they hit a couple of threes.
Yeah, why wouldn't you? I mean, they're so successful at it. Duke hasn't been able to guard it. And it's really been the best part of their offense.
Allen. The catch in traffic. Kicks to the corner. Kennard back to Allen. Still plenty of time to shoot. And they're going to play on. Snyder. And the finish for King. Now a steal by Snyder. Spalding will lay it in. Timeout, Duke.
On the last several possessions, the inbounds play and the easy bucket before the timeout called by Duke.
6-point lead Louisville, just over 4 minutes into the second half.
Frank Jackson back into the ballgame. He has not played much in this one due to foul trouble. Picked up 3 in the first half.
So Grayson Allen on the bench right now for the Blue Devils. Jackson looking inside for Jeter. Back to Jackson. Baseline jumper, too strong. Rebound Jones.
B.J. King not there to rebound because he wanted to stay with Luke Kennard. Probably overall a smart decision to keep Kennard from getting an open look at a 3.
Jones guarded by Mitchell.
With all the switching, there are what you might call mismatches, but Louisville does a great job of covering up. Good passing.
Tatum with a shot fake. Can't get the jumper off. Jackson gets a clean look at a 3. Down to the rebound, Spalding.
When Louisville contests everything, it just shows that, look, everything may not be perfect for Louisville in some of their coverages, but they play so hard, their hustle makes up for it.
Tatum just picked up his 3rd foul.
Starting to see a little bit of frustration on the part of Jason Tatum. That's going to happen on the road. You need to deal with it.
Can a car be crap?
Got 11.6 rebounds, 1 assist, 4 turnovers, but a lot of physical play, a lot of getting tangled up with Louisville players. Louisville plays a very physical brand of basketball. And here it got bumped, then looked like he hooked Mitchell with his arm, and then Mitchell gave him a shot across the forehead before both players got back to their feet. So you expect a physical game when you play Louisville, and Grayson Allen has been given and has been getting in that department.
Yeah, Grayson Allen at times can try to sell calls to officials, and I think that's one of the reasons. He got fouled there, got hit in the face when he was dribbling there. It's a clear foul, they just missed it. But I happen to believe that part of that is the way that he sells calls during the course of the game.
Again, terrific penetration by Quentin Snyder. Sets up an easy look for one of the bigs on Louisville. It seems like Snyder's been able to get into the paint almost at will today.
Well, Quentin Snyder is having a terrific year. He's just a young man that knows how to play. You know, he's put his time in, and you know, when you're scouting him, you say, well, he's not the quickest guy, he's not explosive, all that stuff. But man, that young man knows how to play basketball.
A junior from right here in Louisville. Duke looking for a response as the lead has grown to 8.
Everything off the dribble for Duke.
Corner 3 will go down for Matt Jones. They needed that one.
Really needed it badly. That was one of the first assists they've had in a while.
Mathiang, left hand. What a move by Mango Mathiang. Any offense they get from him is a bonus.
Duke has really struggled in the half court to guard the ball. Struggled in ball screens and then just going right after Chase Jeter. Louisville continuing to switch just about every screen and exchange.
And another turnover, their 12th.
Louisville's defense has been absolutely spectacular. All the switching has really kept Duke off balance all game long. Just a terrific move here by Mango Mathiang. And Mathiang going to that left hand, little finger, not quite George Gervin, but an excellent finger roll.
I think Mango Mathiang's ever been compared to George Gervin before?
I didn't compare him.
7-point lead Cardinals. Grayson Allen back in for Duke. Mitchell too strong on the 3 and Allen the rebound. 7 rebounds on the afternoon for Allen. Bernard guarded by Adele. Allen wide open. Mitchell appears to be shaken up. Allen makes the 3, and Donovan Mitchell is in some pain, clutching his left ankle. The leading scorer on the Cardinals team, the sophomore from Greenwich, Connecticut, down and in considerable pain on the court right now.
And one of the most dynamic athletes in the ACC. And this would be a huge blow to Louisville. And the building has gone dead silent.
Looked like it was Mitchell trying to trail Allen around a couple of screens, and we'll see what happened to him, as he's going to need a lot of assistance just to make his way off the court.
You can see Donovan Mitchell right here as he's trailing Grayson Allen.
Stepped on a foot. Stepped on Bolden's foot.
Well, that takes another scorer out of the lineup for Louisville. But they've had so many players that have come into the game and made positive contributions.
And now it'll be David Levitch asked to come in place of Mitchell. This is Levitch with the ball right here. He's a good shooter.
You want to try to put Marquise Bolden in a ball screen situation, although he's got excellent feet.
Didn't see Bolden at all in the first half, getting his first action today here in the second half. Spalding inside, no. And the ball belongs to Duke.
A lot of contact, unable to finish that play, but what a pass. I don't know how that even got through to Ray Spalding. This is a big possession for Duke.
Jones, cross-court look. Tatum on the drive into traffic. Offensive foul. Tatum just picked up his 4th.
It was a good shot fake, but that would have been shot fake, one dribble, pull-up jumper. He was actually open for the shot. I think could have pulled the trigger, but Ray Spalding was closing out to him. And that was just taking it way too deep. You're not going to be able to get all the way to the bucket on this defense, and especially the way this team is alert and rotates. And a really nice job by Mango Mathiang.
You know, I think Jeff Capel was saying his feet were in the restricted area. It was interesting because Mathiang was on his tippy toes, and his heel was over the arc, but it wasn't touching the arc. If he had put his heel down, he would have been inside the circle, but the call goes against Tatum as now Deng Adel turns it over on the travel. So Tatum has gone to the bench with 4. The front court right now for Duke is Marquise Bolden and Javin DeLaurier, 2 players who have not seen a ton of action for the Blue Devils this season. Tatum's on the bench. Giles is on the bench. Jeter's on the bench. Jefferson, of course, is injured today. And Duke turns it over. Timeout on the floor. Louisville by 4.
Shelton Mitchell, the hoop and harm on the coast-to-coast 5-point game. 7 minutes and change to go there. Villanova keeping St. John's at arm's distance, and Miami all over it. Pitt.
We'll see Miami next week. 1 week from today. Saturday Prime will take us to Cameron Indoor Stadium. It'll be Miami and Duke. Donovan Mitchell, by the way, back into the game. Let's get a report from Maria.
Dan, it's being called a rolled left ankle. Donovan Mitchell went back, tested his range of motion, hopped on one leg, ran back and forth, back in the tunnel, and said he was ready to go back in as soon as the timeout was over.
So Louisville fans with a big sigh of relief to see one of their most important players back into the game quickly. Still Bolden and DeLaurier in the front court for the Blue Devils. Allen elevates for the jumper, knocks it down. Allen now with 16.
That's a terrific job by Grayson Allen to pull up short for that jump shot. He's being trailed by Donovan Mitchell there off that side handoff ball screen action.
Snyder knocks down a 3.
And how many big plays has he made over the past 7 or 8 games? He's been a different player since the Kentucky game. A different player.
Playing with great confidence. Allen with a drive, lays it in. A game high 18 right now for Grayson Allen, and Duke back within 3. Adele, baseline jumper, knocks it down.
Well, Allen didn't even have a hand up there. I don't think he thought that Adele would pull the trigger on that.
Mitchell guarding Allen, and the ankle looking okay right now as he gets back on D. Now Kennard driving on Adele, and we've got a foul against Mitchell trying to trail Allen around the screen. Hey, don't forget, a great game coming your way right after this one today here on ESPN. Florida State, the Seminoles winners of 12 in a row. They'll take on North Carolina in Chapel Hill right after this game here on ESPN. Then a little bit later on, 4 o'clock Eastern time, Auburn into Rupp to take on Kentucky.
You think there'll be some transition buckets scored in Florida State, North Carolina? Florida State has enough bodies to be able to contend with Carolina, especially big bodies.
Florida State and Notre Dame at the top of the ACC standings right now as Allen drives and scores again.
Well, they've done a really good job, Duke has, of spreading Louisville out and just trying to take them off the dribble. But the spread of the floor has been really effective.
Mathiang, strong move, just went right at Bolden and made that look easy.
Yeah, they're really trying to take advantage of Duke's freshman big guys and their lack of experience and the fact that they haven't played a ton of games.
Nearly stolen on the gamble by Adele.
You wonder about giving up a 3. Louisville really recovered well. That gamble normally would be a 3 against most teams, but Louisville able to cover up.
Shot clock a factor, down to 5. Kennard in traffic, swatted away. Here comes Snyder. One-on-one on Jones. Pull up. Long rebound, back to Snyder. And now they'll settle things down. Well, Snyder was ready to pull the trigger again. Didn't catch the pass, though. Spalding over Bolden and a chance for 3.
The patience that Quentin Snyder is showing off of these ball screens is really impressive. Not there right away, doesn't blast off it, just comes off it, keeps his eyes up, able to find Ray Spalding with that great length and athleticism, able to finish that off the glass with his left hand. And Ray Spalding, he might not have grabbed as many rebounds as he has grabbed the last 3 or 4 games, but he has been effective.
Actually launched it in midair on the way up and kind of tapped it in off the glass. Snyder to the bench, and Jason Tatum with 4 fouls back into the game for Duke, along with Giles in the front court. It bears repeating, Jay, they really miss Emil Jefferson.
No question. They miss his leadership, his rebounding, and especially his defense. Because you put him in some of those ball screen situations defensively, and he would do a much better job.
And a whistle away from the play. A foul going against the Cardinals. Jefferson out with a bone bruise in his right foot, missing his 2nd game, wearing a boot, and still, we're told, kind of day-to-day, game-to-game at this point. Remember, this is the same foot he injured that cost him most of last year, got him the medical red shirt to come back this year.
I wonder a little what a cut by Matt Jones.
And Jones with a chance to complete a 3-point play.
Well, he just cut right past the face of David Levitch and muscled right past him to get that bucket. That was a great cut. Anytime you're playing defense, you never want to let an offensive player cut past your face to the ball. That's exactly what Matt Jones was able to do to David Levitch. One thing of the many things you wonder going down the stretch is everything that Duke has been doing, even bringing the ball up, Grayson Allen bringing it up, has been contested and has been difficult. Is fatigue going to be a factor late in the game for Grayson Allen and Luke Kennard?
Tough pull up by Adele. Knew he missed it, followed it, but the rebound to Kennard. He's got Jones ahead of the pack. And Jones, no foul. Just Hicks knocking the ball out of bounds. Good defensive play there by Hicks.
Yeah, Tony Hicks saved a basket with that play there. Used his right hand and got all ball, knocking it out of bounds. That was a bucket-saving play by Hicks to transfer from Penn.
Giving Snyder a breather right now. Levitch has gone to the bench. Mitchell's come back in for Louisville. Tatum with a crossover. Pull up, no. Mitchell skies for the rebound.
not a good shot by Jason Tatum. He can make it, but didn't need it.
Hey, I think the ankle's okay for Donovan Mitchell.
Isn't it amazing in basketball, especially at the college level? Bad shot on one end leads to a layup on the other.
Crowd roaring its approval. The lead back to 7.
Louisville continuing to switch.
Kennard turns it over. Spalding had a layup or a dunk and dribbled it off his foot out of bounds.
Well, Donovan Mitchell went out with that ankle injury, came back. And I think you called it, Dan Shulman. I think his ankle feels okay. In fact, somebody else's might be broken. God, but Wayne Bacon, the sophomore, has had a spectacular year. That game that Bacon put up against Virginia on the road, he had 29 points, 26 of those coming in the second half, including the game winner to win at Virginia. I mean, that is a tough place to play and a difficult style to play against. Florida State's absolutely for real.
And you can see the significance of the game with Florida State taking on Carolina. Also, this afternoon, Notre Dame at Virginia Tech. Another big game in the ACC.
We're going 1-4 across.
Allen baseline. And a travel is the call. That is the 6th turnover committed by Grayson Allen today.
Just watch his feet here. And yeah, he got a clear walk. Great call. And Tony Hicks again doing a really nice job, just staying solid, staying low and staying between his man and the basket, forcing the offensive player to make a move.
Jay, season high 17 turnovers committed by Duke this afternoon.
Yeah, Duke's only got 7 assists. Everything has been almost one-on-one off the dribble.
Hicks, Allen might have gotten a piece of it. Hicks says he did, but the ruling is no deflection, and now the officials are going to talk about it, and we might have an overrule here that if Allen did get a piece of it, that it'll go back over. But no, the ruling is no, and it'll stay with Duke.
This full court pressure is taking its toll. I mean, Duke has handled it. They haven't been turning it over necessarily by bringing the ball up court, and there's a foul. A little bit too aggressive defensively. But I think fatigue could be an issue. These guys, look, they're used to playing. Grayson Allen, Luke Kennard, they're used to playing heavy-duty minutes. But this is a little bit different, where they've had, it's been mentally and physically taxing to go against this Louisville defense.
Bonus now for Duke the rest of the way. 17th foul committed by Louisville.
And one of the guys that's really struggled in this game for Duke, and you expect freshmen to have struggles, especially on the road against a team as good as Louisville, but Jason Tatum. I mean, Tatum's been averaging 20 points a game in conference play. He's scored in double figures in every game he's played in this year, and he's 2 of 8 from the field in this one, 6 points, a couple of turnovers, does not have an assist.
He's been dealing with foul trouble. He's out there with 4 right now. Allen has more points than the rest of his teammates combined here in the second half. Mitchell driving, and Jones with a block. Terrific defensive play by Matt Jones.
And Matt Jones just continuing to angle, and instead of letting Donovan Mitchell get to the rim, just continues to try to angle him toward the baseline. That was just a really good defensive play.
Anas Mahmoud not heard from a lot in the second half after an outstanding first half. Rebound down to Harry Giles. A lot of time left, and it's only a 5-point game.
Set right now where they can operate off the elbow, but that was a good job by Louisville extending the catch.
Poked away by Mahmoud. Mitchell lays it in.
The long arms of Anas Mahmoud have not been seen as much in this second half, but made their presence felt defensively on that play.
Crowd behind us yelling for a foul on Allen. Felt he used the right arm to kind of discard Mitchell, the defender, on that play. And Kennard fouled by Spalding.
After Anas Mahmoud knocked this ball away with his right hand as on the post pass, it's a terrific job. Went right to Donovan Mitchell, and Mitchell keeps that ball out in front of him and just hesitated a little bit, brought the ball back, and allowed Grayson Allen just fly by so he could lay it in.
And Kennard at the line now for Duke. Louisville does not really want to get into a free throw shooting competition with Duke, especially if guys like Allen and Kennard are going to be the ones at the line for the Blue Devils.
Well, they don't want to foul at all. I mean, you don't want to put Duke at the free throw line because they've had some difficulties of running good offense against this excellent Louisville defense. You foul them. Basketball is one of the only games I know of where you can let a team, by your mistakes, score with no defense. You do not want to foul, especially on a common foul where you're putting them at the line.
Mitchell for three. Yes.
Well, that was another ball screen situation. Screen not really set, but not well handled.
Allen, nice bounce pass off to Giles for the slam.
Getting the ball in quickly and then getting it up court was really effective before Louisville could get some defense to try to make it difficult on Grayson Allen. He's got some speed with the ball.
They leave Mahmoud open. He won't take the 17-footer. Instead, the kick to Adele. Step-in jumper. Got it.
Dang, Adele has a chance to be a really good player. He's had so many good games this year. He's starting to come into his own, but the foul trouble's really hurt him in this one.
Crowd to its feet here in Louisville. 4.5 to go, 8-point game. Ball screen Giles. Kennard fouled by Mahmoud.
I don't know why he wants to reach in there. Just stay big and make him shoot over you. Foul him, he's going to the free throw line now. Anas Mahmoud has been fabulous in this game, but that was not a good play. Now the ball screen got a switch right away, and Jason Tatum just not up with a hand up. And a great pass and a great job by Grayson Allen of just getting the ball in quickly and down court quickly before Louisville could set its defense.
Kennard 86% from the line on the season, and King back into the game for Adele.
Kennard's shooting numbers are just ridiculous. I mean, on the season, shoots like 53% from the field, 45% from three, and 86%, as you said, from the free throw line. But in conference play, I mean, he's like 57% from the field.
Duke has made its last 13 free throws.
1-2-2 3/4 court pressure from Duke there just to slow the advance a bit.
Mitchell with 10 on the shot clock. Deep one. Wow. Got it!
They are going right after Harry Giles in ball screen situations. What a gutsy pull-up shot by Donovan Mitchell.
They started 0 for 6 from three-point range today. They've made 6 of their last 10. Allen too strong off the glass, but a foul against the Cardinals to take us to immediate timeout.
Yeah, looks like they got Mitchell on that foul, but Mitchell on the other end going right after Harry Giles on the ball screen situation. Giles not out there. He pulls up from deep after the ankle.
It's ranked opponents. They've won the first 3. They got Carolina this afternoon. And Florida State, talented, deep, length. Carolina, of course, great inside players. Joel Berry on the perimeter can be a heck of a basketball player.
Yeah, Joel Berry really the key for North Carolina. I mean, he's the engine that makes them go. And Carolina in November was the best team in the country. They played extraordinarily well, and they're still trying to get back to that frame of mind.
With Baylor losing, who's your number one? Who should be number one on Monday?
It's going to be a rotating thing. I mean, a lot of times number one goes by who lost last. Right. But I tend to think that right now Villanova's the best team. There's really no reason for Ray Spalding to be fouling 28 feet from the basket there.
They keep fouling Allen. And on occasion Kennard as well, and sending some really good free throw shooters to the line. This one will send Tatum to the line, and he's also a very good free throw shooter, 86% on the season.
Well, you certainly don't want to foul and give him free points and easy points, but one thing you don't want to do with a guy like Jason Tatum, he's been struggling. And when you're struggling, the best way to get your feel back is to get to the free throw line or a layup or a dunk. See the ball go through the rim.
One of two for Tatum.
There's that 1-2-2 3/4 court pressure.
And Mahmoud going to come back and help out. Three minutes to go. Louisville with an 8-point lead. Anis Mahmoud.
And that all started off attacking Harry Giles off the ball screen, putting Duke in rotation. Almost an offensive foul there.
Tatum got away with one there, and Giles will slam it home. It's still an 8-point game, 2:38 to go.
So anytime your defense gets in rotation, at the end of the line, what you're really worried about is the offensive glass being wide open. That's exactly what happened for Louisville on the other end.
Rick Pitino will use a timeout. Mahmoud with 15 points and 10 rebounds in this game.
Just a great performance by Anis Mahmoud. He was fabulous in the first half. His length is so impressive, and especially the way he uses it. He's got really good patience, and Duke's been beaten up badly in ball screen situations, giving up the paint, getting put into rotation, and Anis Mahmoud has taken advantage of it. But here, no block out at all. Nobody even turning to look to block out. And in one measure, that's because Duke's got guards underneath that aren't really used to doing that kind of thing. So that was about as easy of a putback as you can imagine.
15 points, 10 rebounds, credited with one block. I think he's got more than that. Remember, he got a finger on one, and that appeared to be his second block. That was back in the first half. But even if it doesn't show up in the stats, how many shots does this guy alter on a game-in, game-out basis?
And you can switch him off. He's switched off on just about every player on the floor for Duke, and has been able to move his feet, stay in front. Nobody's gotten anything easy off Anis Mahmoud in this game.
Nearly a turnover. Snyder the drive. Needs some help, finds Mahmoud. 5 on the shot clock. King's got to get it off. Well short, and it's Duke ball. Two minutes to go.
Plenty of time.
Tatum with a great shot fake. Tough one off the front of the rim, but a foul will go against Louisville. It's going to be Jalen Johnson, and Duke will head back to the free throw line.
Well, there's where you can see the rebounding prowess of Harry Giles. Good shot fake gets Jalen Johnson into the air, and Johnson just came right into Giles, who came in, and VJ King not able to get a block out on him. But Giles was an elite rebounder when he was in high school. That's why he was the #1, one of the reasons he was the #1 player rated in the country. Boy, that's the third free throw now he's missed in a row.
He's 0 for 3. Suddenly the Blue Devils have missed 4 of their last 5. Florida State, North Carolina coming up next here on ESPN. Also tonight, worth mentioning on ESPN2. How about St. Mary's at Gonzaga? The Zags the last undefeated in the country. There's the two traditional powers of the West Coast Conference. That'll be fun.
Gonzaga's got such great balance. They've got 4 really good guards and 4 really good big guys. And this may not be Mark Few's best team, but it's his most balanced team.
Are you counting Shemek Karnowski's 1 big guy or 2 big guys?
That's a good point. Every screen's a double screen for Shemek Karnowski.
Adele airballs the 3. Johnson runs it down on the weak side. Snyder.
Louisville is just going to get the ball. They have been quicker to the ball. And off an offensive rebound, best time to shoot a 3. That's the 4th foul now on Mitchell. Jalen Johnson got that offensive rebound, didn't have a stick back, immediately looked out, to Quentin Snyder stepping into that three. And that's why it's the best time to shoot a three. The analytics prove it, but your eyes tell you that. And how about that follow through? Waving goodbye to the ball. Perfect.
Playing with confidence. Louisville 7 for 19 from three-point range in the game, and it's a 10-point lead with just a minute 21 to go.
And Louisville out shooting Duke from three-point range, and guarding the three-point line is a real strength for Louisville, but it was a point of emphasis going into this game that they had to guard the line. And you know, Dan, you wonder with some of these missed free throws if fatigue is a bit of an issue. That Grayson Allen's an excellent free throw shooter. You can understand how, you know, Harry Giles, big guy, might miss some free throws, but you know, Allen down the stretch, they have made him work for everything. He's got to be a little bit tired.
He's played 34 minutes today. Jones 35, Kennard 38.
But it was a hard 35.
Yep. Stays with Louisville.
Dan, you look at some of the percentages that you're seeing Duke give up in their ACC conference games. In the last 4 games, you know, Duke's given up about 49%, 50% from the field. I think the referees are going to go look at, see who that ball went off of.
Yeah, Blue Devils requested it inside the last 2 minutes. You can review it.
You know, Louisville shooting over 60% in the second half, and that's been a trend. Now, Emil Jefferson not being there the last couple games, Grayson Allen being out by suspension against Virginia Tech. Are those factors? Of course they are. But defensively, this Duke team's got to get an awful lot better because they are giving up an awful lot in the paint and not really protecting their paint as well as they need to.
Kennard and Jones, the only 2 players on the roster who have appeared in every game for the Blue Devils. They've had a lot of injuries to deal with, and as mentioned, the officials are trying to see who the ball went out of bounds off of. Initially touched by Mitchell, but then you can see Kennard comes in with the hand. Does Mitchell's hand stay on it, I guess, as his arm comes down? The call on the floor is that the ball belongs to Louisville.
Yeah, so you can see Mitchell with his hand on it. Then Luke Kennard hit it with his left hand. And as you're saying, the question is it conclusive that you can reverse the call? And they're giving it to Duke.
They did. They're going to give the ball to the Blue Devils.
Donovan Mitchell may need to trim his fingernails because that's how close that one was.
So Duke ball with a minute 17 to go. They are down 9.
And this is where you have to be efficient. When you're down on the road, you have got to score or get fouled on every possession. Can't have any more turnovers. And Duke's turnovers, and especially as Maria Taylor mentioned, their assist to turnover ratio, I mean, that has been a huge factor in this game.
Boy, B.J. King was going to inbounds the ball. I don't think he realized it had been overturned and given to Duke. Now covering Tatum. Strong drive and the lay-in for Tatum. What a move. Mahmoud. Nice little pass fake. Gets it over to King, and they get it over, but then a double dribble is called, and it goes back over to the Blue Devils.
Anas Mahmoud has been a really good pressure release, but there's no reason to pick up your dribble there. You know, especially once you get across half court, that's the equivalent. You know, getting it in here and letting the double team come right to you, that was almost a turnover. But if you see V.J. King, you know, he was going to pick up his dribble anyway, right as he came across half court. That's the last place you want to pick it up.
Rick Pitino calls a timeout. Let's get an update back in the studio with Doug Kazarian.
Dan, thank you. Just a reminder, coming up next, we'll keep it in the ACC. Joel Berry in North Carolina hosting Florida State, Coach.
Florida State's 11-man rotation is going to look to wear down Berry.
Joel Berry, the heart and soul of the Tar Heel team. As he goes, so will the Tar Heels.
Love his hair.
How can you not? Seminoles have won a school record 12 straight. That's coming up next. Back to Louisville.
All right, guys, thank you. Leonard Hamilton's got himself a team. Joel Berry unquestionably the head of the snake when it comes to the Tar Heels. Should be a fascinating matchup coming up, but this one's not over yet. Duke's got the ball back down by 7.
For Louisville now, guarding the three-point line is really important. One thing if you give up a 2, you do not want to give up a 3.
Kennard, the drive. Fends off the defender, but can't finish off the window, and it's Louisville ball.
The shot blocking, shot changing of Louisville.
And Snyder still going, wasting precious seconds.
You got a foul here.
Yep. And Kennard will before the shot.
There's way too much time going off the clock before the foul.
And that one is, they're still not in the bonus. It's one more foul until Louisville gets to the line. So 40 seconds to go. Louisville ball, unless Duke gets an immediate steal. You got to believe they're going to foul right away and force Louisville to make some free throws.
Yeah, you want to try to get a steal if you can, get a deflection. That was way too much time going off the clock before that foul.
And there it is.
Honestly, not a great free throw shooter, shooting about 50% on the season, but he is in a confident frame of mind after the way he's played today. I wouldn't be surprised to see him make these.
We told you about the Florida State-Carolina game. Syracuse is in Chapel Hill Monday night. Notre Dame at Florida State Wednesday. Louisville and Florida State next weekend. It's hard to go more than about 24 hours without an ACC matchup that really compels you to watch, given the depth of the league.
Why would you want to go more than 24 hours? Football's over.
Career high in points for Anas Mahmoud. And he calmly knocks down a pair. He's kind of hop-stepping back on defense. He knows he's had a good day, and he knows his team is on the cusp of a really good win.
Well, Mahmoud has been the player of the game, both he and Donovan Mitchell. It's been a team effort, especially defensively.
And Giles fouls him.
This Louisville defense took Duke totally out of what they wanted to do. And all you have to do is look at the assists to field goals and the turnovers, and that's the game right there.
Duke 8 assists, 18 turnovers. Louisville 16 assists, 11 turnovers.
Just everything that Louisville worked on yesterday and leading up to this game, they executed on the defensive end. You don't want to say perfectly, but their effort was absolutely perfect. And whatever little strategic things, maybe they didn't do a certain rotation perfectly or a switch, but they played so hard that made up for any sort of error they could have made.
Tatum fouled, will head to the free throw line for 2. So with a win, Rick Pitino's team will go to 3-2 in the league. Duke will drop to 2-3. And their next game will be 1 week from today. They will not play until next Saturday. It'll be the Saturday primetime game. Will be at Cameron next week. 8:15 Eastern time tip-off as Duke hosts Miami.
And Miami is a team that traditionally has given Duke some problems with their ball screen offense. And right now, that's not a strength that Duke is defending ball screens.
Louisville will stay home, and they will host Clemson Thursday night, 9 o'clock Eastern time here on ESPN. Snyder ahead to Adele, and Allen fouled him.
I think Adele's another guy that fought through foul trouble. His minutes were affected by picking up those 2 early fouls. But he really did a nice job in the time that he was on Luke Kennard, and Louisville was switching the whole game, but really did a nice job on Kennard.
Adele, one of 3 players of the Louisville practice yesterday who was wearing a concussion helmet. Adele, Mahmoud, and Mott Stockman, who has not played in this game, all have suffered concussions this year. And they all had kind of soft padded helmets on throughout the entire practice yesterday.
It looked like Red Grange was out there playing.
Allen bothered, altered by Mahmoud, and Mahmoud not quite full Dikembe Mutombo, but just kind of subtly shaking his head back and forth as if to say, you're not bringing that in here.
Louisville's ability to protect the rim is really impressive. I mean, they challenge shots, and after an early start where they fouled a couple times, they're not fouling and allowing their shot blockers to change shots, block shots, make it difficult to score.
17 points, 11 rebounds, and who knows how many altered shots for Anas Mahmoud. Duke without Emil Jefferson again, the senior out with a foot injury. Big ovation for Quentin Snyder as he comes out.
And he controlled the game. Absolutely controlled the game. And I do think, Dan, fatigue became a factor for Duke late in the game. And Louisville wore him out.
Which is part of Louisville's MO.
Get into shooters' legs. That's what they do.
And that'll do it. Louisville 78 and Duke 69. As the Cardinals go to 3-2 in the ACC, the Blue Devils drop to 2-3. Big day of college hoops continues. Right now, let's send you to Chapel Hill, North Carolina, hosting Florida.